Welcome back. I'm going to do another tent kind of preview or kind of review, my thoughts on it. And I think most of you would have guessed what it was going to be based on a couple of my last films. And it's a Lanshan 2. It's quite a light tent. This one for a two-person is coming in at 1.14 kilograms. Not bad at all. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this one is like set up, going by my last setup with the Lanshan 1. It utilises trekking poles for its structure, and in this case it needs 2 rather than the 1. You can also get your own carbon fibre poles if you want to buy some for it, but I'm setting my trekking poles to 120 centimetres, and we'll see what that's like for the setup. Now the Lanshan 2 is really meant for 2 people, obviously, or a very spacious one-person kind of palace if you want to take it on your own. And it gets a lot of good feedback online. A lot of people really rate it, maybe even a bit more than the Lanshan 1, just because of that extra space that it offers. It's just really the same setup, and this one has a slightly longer footprint. I'm not too sure about the green. I do prefer the khaki colour, the bronze I call it. I think it looks a lot nicer. But it's certainly not a bad looking tent. Again, you have this toggle system here, this little clip that holds the door taut, and you can unclip it and have both doors folded right back. Much like the Lanshan 1, once you have these doors rolled back, it gives you great ventilation and also great views out of the tent. But the benefit with the Lanshan 2 is that you can open up the other side as well. So you've got 2 storage areas, and if you open up the other side like this, amazing ventilation right through, amazing views if you want to just watch what's going on around about you, watch the sunset. Now this is the mesh inner, which also comes with a J-zip, which I'm not a great fan of. I keep saying that. I would have preferred a T-zip. Also, if they could have maybe added a bit more solid fabric around the front. They've added solid fabric at the back, or the ends, shall we say, where your head or feet would be. I think again that's to stop any condensation getting through and onto your sleeping bag or onto your head. There's certainly space in here for 2. It's very nice and light, very airy because of the mesh. That is one nice thing, ideal in the summer. I think that one thing I would maybe look at is the fact that the mesh does sag a little bit in points. It'd be nice to maybe add just another clip or 2 just to hold up the inner mesh. Again, I'm just being pernickety, and a lot of people complain that I'll put the price of the tent up. A few of these little clips and toggles, they don't cost a lot, and it just makes it just an even better product than what it is. And you do have these panels at the bottom and the top to help protect your sleeping bag and your head from condensation. Now I am 5'10" and I have a good 8 inches either end of space. The inner nest, it does sag a bit, but that's because I've not put the outer guy lines on to kind of pull these ends out. Because you've got these toggles on the fly sheet, it will pull the mesh as well. Disconnecting the inner is just a case of taking off the loop for the bathtub and unclipping it. Really quite easy. That only took about 5 minutes or so to switch out the inner nests from the mesh one to the winter one. But again, they said that the inner tent was going to be supplied with a T-zip, and that's what they were using. Nope, this is a J-zip, and that's really annoyed me. But anyway, this is meant to be for the winter. and you only have this small amount of mesh at the top, and the entire rest of it is this solid fabric. But again, I would suggest it was more like my geomid. That was what I would prefer, where you've got a good amount of mesh and also a good amount of windproof fabric lower down, so you've kind of got a halfway house. That's just my opinion. As always, as tent setups go, I'm quite impressed. It's a really nice setup. Excellent price point, really, for what you get. If you're just starting out into the backpacking or the wild camping, then it is a great option, especially for two people. You could split up the inner and the outer, so one of you takes the inner and one takes the outer. A really lightweight setup then. I would use it 2 to 3 season use, and obviously keep an eye on the weather forecast. I've seen some videos of this in quite stormy weather, but I would err on the side of caution and watch where and when you camp with it, just to be safe. But you do have the extra guy lines, the same as the Lanshan 1 at the ends, to give it that bit more strength if the wind starts to blow quite wildly. Now, there is some other videos out there where people have done modifications, and I think I would do the same. A lot of them are to do with the way that the doors hook. They separate this kind of line out, so you've got a separate line for holding the tent up, and then another one just for the doors. That's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. You might like this video up here, maybe not, but anyway, maybe consider subscribing, give me a thumbs up, helps the channel, and as always, until the next one, take care.